Once in a while, we have a discovery or an update of knowledge that really shatters and challenges the assumptions of history and life that we have. I'm talking about the Shigir Idol.
The alarm bells went off deep inside a top-secret research facility. Scientists were staring at their screens in disbelief, their faces pale. Minutes before, their quantum AI had finished sequencing the data from a 12,000-year-old artifact known as the Shigir Idol.
Now, when in use, the statue stood an imposing 17 feet tall and was carved from a single larch tree.
They were expecting to decode ancient symbols. Instead, they uncovered a lost chapter of human history and a terrifying prophecy aimed directly at us. The official story is that the project is under review. The truth is, they're terrified of what they found, and many believe the world is not ready to hear it. The day the past spoke. The alarm bells went off deep inside a top-secret research facility. Scientists were staring at their screens in disbelief, their faces pale. Minutes before, their quantum AI had finished sequencing the data from a 12,000-year-old artifact known as the Shigir Idol. They were expecting to decode ancient symbols. Instead, they uncovered a lost chapter of human history and a terrifying prophecy aimed directly at us. The official story is that the project is under review. You see, for more than a century, the Shigir Idol has been an enigma. Discovered back in 1894 by gold miners in the Ural Mountains of Russia, it was pulled from the preserving depths of a peat bog. This wasn't stone, but wood, a material that rarely survives the relentless march of time. The bog's unique, oxygen-free environment acted like a natural time capsule, preserving the massive larchwood sculpture for an unimaginable 12,100 years. The most shocking fact is, that makes it more than twice as old as the Great Pyramids of Giza and Stonehenge combined. It comes from the Mesolithic period, a misty era right after the last ice age when the world was changing forever. Standing at over 11 feet tall, even with some pieces lost to time, its surface is covered in geometric patterns, zigzags, and 8 haunting human-like faces. For decades, the question was simple. What does it mean? Was it a spirit, a map, a story? But not all things are what they seem. A privately funded research group armed with a state-of-the-art quantum computer decided to ask a different question. What if the idol isn't a sculpture at all? What if it's a storage device? Using non-invasive scanning technology, they mapped every groove, every notch, every tool mark on the idol's surface down to the micron level. They fed this colossal amount of data into a quantum AI named Kronos. The AI's task wasn't to guess the meaning, but to find patterns, complex, repeating mathematical patterns that a human eye could never see. For weeks, the machine churned through the data. And then it happened. Kronos didn't just find patterns, it found a language. It found a sophisticated binary-like code embedded within the seemingly random carvings. The chevrons, lines, and even the positions of the faces were all part of a coherent data stream. The idol wasn't a piece of art, it was a hard drive. And when the first block of data was translated, the researchers knew they had crossed a point of no return. What many overlooked was that the idol wasn't telling a story about primitive gods, it was telling a story about us. A story about a forgotten past so advanced and a future so terrifying it made them slam the alarm button. The information was so paradigm-shifting they tried to classify it immediately, but it was too late. Leaks began to surface, painting a picture of an incredible discovery being suppressed. The thing nobody tells you is that the real mystery of the Shigir Idol isn't what it meant to hunter-gatherers 12,000 years ago. The real mystery is what its message means for us right now. The message revealed a lost civilization and an ancient repeating danger. The Larch Wood Library. To understand the panic in that research lab, you have to understand what the AI found. This wasn't just a simple warning, it was a detailed archive. According to the data sequenced by Kronos, the creators of the idol were not the simple hunter-gatherers we read about in textbooks. They were the descendants of a much older, highly advanced global civilization that had been wiped from the face of the earth. To put it mildly, this civilization was obsessed with the stars. They had a profound understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and long-term celestial cycles that far surpasses our own until very recently. They weren't just watching the sky, they were tracking a cosmic clock and they knew their time was running out. The idol itself, carved from a single larch tree that was already 157 years old when it was felled, was a deliberate act of preservation. Its creators, living in a shattered world after a great cataclysm, knew that all their grand cities and advanced technology would turn to dust. But they believed wood, if placed in the right environment like a peat bog, could survive. It was an organic time capsule. The geometric patterns that have puzzled scientists for a century are, in reality, a celestial map and a timeline. The zigzag lines don't represent a serpent or water, they represent fluctuations in the Earth's magnetic field. The straight lines and chevrons chart the orbital paths of planets and a specific unnamed celestial body. The 8 faces are not gods or spirits, they are markers. They mark 8 distinct points in a vast, repeating cosmic cycle that governs life and destruction on Earth. What many are crazy about is the sheer detail of the information. The AI decoded sections that describe a world before the ice, a world with a different coastline, a different climate, and a civilization that lived in harmony with the planet. They understood physics in a way we are only beginning to grasp, using harmonic resonance and Earth's energy fields. But they made a mistake. They became arrogant and ignored the warnings passed down to them, warnings about the Great Cycle. The data file on the idol is a historical record and a mea culpa. It chronicles the final days of this lost civilization as a celestial event triggered a pole shift, causing catastrophic floods, earthquakes, and a rapid changing climate that plunged the world into the Ice Age. The few who survived were thrown back into a primitive state, losing everything except the memory of the past. The creators of the Shigir Idol were part of a global effort by these survivors to leave a warning for the next civilization to rise. Us. They created markers like the idol and placed them in locations they calculated would survive the ages. The idol found in the Ural Mountains wasn't the only one. It's just the first one we found and successfully decoded. This completely changes our understanding of the past. It suggests that the Mesolithic people weren't inventing spirituality from scratch. They were the custodians of a profound and terrible legacy. They were memory keepers tasked with preserving a message they may no longer have fully understood, waiting for a time when humanity would be advanced enough to read it again. But the history lesson wasn't the part that triggered the alarms. When the stars align, the most shocking fact, the detail that sent a chill down every spine in that lab, wasn't the story of a lost golden age. It was the warning for the future. You see, the Shigir Idol is not just a history book, it's a clock, and its final message is a countdown. The celestial cycle that caused the last great cataclysm was not a one-time event. The AI's translation of the final sections of the code made this terrifyingly clear. The cycle is periodic, like a cosmic pendulum swinging back and forth over thousands of years. The carvings on the idol meticulously chart this cycle, marking the points of stability and the points of chaos. And the message is unequivocal. The pendulum is reaching the end of its swing. The same astronomical alignment that devastated the ancient world is happening again. The researchers watched in horror as the quantum computer mapped the ancient star charts onto our current celestial models. They matched perfectly. The idol's data pointed to a confluence of factors: a cyclical weakening of the planet's magnetic shield, our solar system's passage through a dense patch of the galactic plane, and the return of that same mysterious celestial body mentioned in their records. The thing nobody tells you is that this isn't some vague prophecy about fire and flood. It's a scientific paper written 12,000 years ago. It provides data points, astronomical calculations, and markers. The final face on the idol, the one at the top with its mouth wide open, isn't singing. It's screaming. It marks the final phase of the cycle, the one we are entering right now. This is why the alarm was sounded. This discovery is not historical, it's a matter of global security. Think about it. If this information is true, it means our ancestors left us a user's manual for our planet's most dangerous feature. It explains so many ancient mysteries, the sudden end of the Ice Age, the legends of a global flood found in almost every culture, the construction of sites like Göbekli Tepe, which is also from the same period. They were all part of this post-cataclysm effort to warn the future. What many overlooked is that these ancient peoples were not primitive. They were survivors with a mission. And we have been ignoring their message for centuries because we couldn't read the language. The panic among the researchers is understandable. How do you announce to the world that our entire civilization might be built on a foundation of borrowed time and the clock is about to strike midnight? How do you explain that a wooden statue from the Stone Age contains a more accurate long-term climate model than anything we've developed? The potential for mass panic, for the collapse of our systems, is immense. So the official story becomes further analysis is needed. The project gets buried under layers of classification. But a truth this big is impossible to contain forever. The question is no longer what the idol means, but what we do now, truth and consequences. So where does this leave us? You're probably sitting there wondering if this could all possibly be true. Did some advanced civilization get wiped out, and did they leave a warning carved into a wooden plank? It sounds like science fiction, and you can see this everywhere. People are naturally skeptical. The thing is, the pieces start to fit together when you look closely. The sheer mathematical complexity of the idol's design, the astronomical knowledge required, the fact that it was made by so-called primitive people, it never made sense. This provides an answer. It suggests that human history isn't a straight line of progress from caves to skyscrapers. It's a cycle of rise and fall. We are a species with amnesia, and the Shigir Idol is the first memory to resurface. The people watching this are likely looking for that missing detail, that one key piece of the puzzle. The thing is, the idol isn't the whole puzzle. It's a single crucial piece. The data it contains is a call to action. It urges future generations to look for other markers, to re-examine ancient sites not as temples, but as scientific instruments, and to decode the messages before it's too late. The researchers who slammed the alarm button weren't just afraid of the warning, they were afraid of the responsibility that comes with it. The most important part of the idol's message isn't about doom, it's about knowledge. The ancient civilization fell because they ignored the signs. The idol was created so that we wouldn't make the same mistake. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The idea that even in the face of total annihilation, people would take the time to leave a message of hope for a future they would never see. They believed that one day we would be smart enough to read their warning and wise enough to act on it. This truly staggering discovery, powered by the unprecedented analytical capabilities of quantum AI, doesn't just suggest new theories, it violently shatters the bedrock of our old certainties. It forces us to confront a series of deeply uncomfortable questions about the very timeline of human consciousness. Are we surrounded by other signs, other ancient warnings we have failed to see? Are the precise astronomical alignments of Göbekli Tepe, the geometric warnings of the Nazca Lines, and the global ubiquity of flood myths all part of a single coherent message we have misinterpreted for millennia? Is the fundamental truth about our own past hidden in plain sight, encrypted within the very structures and stories we've dismissed as primitive art or fanciful legend? This revelation has irrevocably pushed the conversation beyond the confines of dusty academic circles, igniting a firestorm of public speculation and scientific reevaluation. It has sparked a truly global reckoning with our ultimate origins and our collective destiny, forcing a painful re-examination of history itself. After an eon of silence, the Shigir Idol has finished its long, patient watch over humanity. It has finally delivered its profound 12,000-year-old message, a chillingly sophisticated revelation from a world we thought we understood, a world lost to the ice and time. The past has spoken with a voice that is clear, intelligent, and deeply unsettling. How we choose to build our future in the echo of that ancient voice is now entirely up to us. Is the Shigir Idol's message a genuine warning from a lost civilization, or the most elaborate misinterpretation of all time? The answer could define our future. Let us know your thoughts below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more secrets from our hidden past.